What's up, guys? This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks on YouTube and Spotify. This is episode 197. Can you believe it, guys? We made it this far. 197 episodes. Honestly, I didn't think I would make it this far. But I want to talk about Chargers, Padres, and UFC 306 coming from the Spear in Las Vegas. So, guys, probably first time in a while I haven't actually left out comedy for an episode, but this is the first time I've got to do that. Also, by the way, thank you guys for listening to this podcast, following, subscribing to the podcast, and spreading the word to your friends and family and everyone in between. And also donating to the podcast, which you can do by clicking the link on my YouTube episodes, which will take you to the Spotify episodes, and you click on the link in the episode and it'll let you donate to the podcast. But of course, there's also a link on my Spotify episodes where you can also click the link and it'll take you to the donation page and you can donate to the podcast. I believe it's 99 cents a month, so $1 a month, $12 per person a year. Maybe get hundreds of you guys to do it. So 12 times 100, $1,200. Not too bad, right? I'm always kind of hustling out there, so multiple jobs, podcasting, critiquing, comedy reviews, delivering food, driving people around, laboratory job. Well, yeah, 2 podcasts. So, and helping comics get shows in LA or San Diego. So, a lot of things to do. Also being an associate producer of a comedy show. So, what can I not do, right? Anywho, let's talk about Chargers. They're 2-0. They are coached by Jim Harbaugh. Very defensive team. Offense has been kind of average, but they scored 48 points. Yeah, 48 points in 2 games. They've only given up a total of 13 points in 2 games. No receiving touchdowns by receivers or tight ends. The only receiving touchdown they gave up was to a running back, which was a 31-yard touchdown catch and run. And aside from that, no rushing touchdowns given up in 2 games. No touchdowns in the red zone given up, so that's always good. And I think our kicker is kicking everything in sight. So, honestly, it might be a fun season. And Justin Herbert did get his ankle rolled on by a player, and he looked like he was in pain, but he still finished the game. So he is questionable for this 3rd game of the season against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who has Justin Fields, who doesn't have Russell Wilson available to play because he's hurt, but Justin Fields, I kind of figured was going to be the future of some team, and he is taking over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just so happens both the Steelers and the Chargers are both 2-0. Both are super defensive. Steelers are giving up 16 points. Chargers giving up 13 points. And we'll see if Justin Herbert can out-quarterback Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. So I'll be staying tuned for that one. I'll probably watch it at home, or I might find a place to watch the game if they're open. Have some good food. But we'll see. Oh no, I might get like some yummy breakfast, bring it home at 10 o'clock. Put the game on my phone because I have NFL Plus on my phone. Watch the game in its entirety from 10 to 1:30. See how well these teams do. Hopefully the Chargers pull it out. Who knows? Chargers being 3-0 will be a great start to the season under Jim Harbaugh in this new era of Chargers. And hopefully the Chargers can do well with Quentin Johnson, Joshua Palmer, Lad McConkey. Just do well with those guys. Cross my fingers, see how well this defense will hold up for the rest of the season, and then see how well this kicker can keep it going with his perfection, with all of his kicks. But just to make sure the offense is pretty much a well-oiled machine. So far, not too bad. Defense is looking pretty good. I kind of hope for a little more sharpness, a little more smooth coming from Justin Herbert. I know he's always been dealing with injuries. This is probably another one, but he could probably play through it. He did have 2 bad hands last season, so hopefully this season he gets his both of his hands fully functional. So can't wait to see how he's going to distribute the ball, handing off the ball, and just pass into great targets. Don't make any mistakes while passing. Don't fumble the ball. Don't get sacked too much. Hopefully the offensive line will protect Herbert for the entire season so he won't get hurt too much. So a lot of things I hope to do pretty well. So crossing my fingers they do well this season. And then the week after the Steelers, they're going to be hosting the Super Bowl champions, the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Rashid Rice, Xavier Worthy, and it looks like the Chiefs did add on Kareem Hunt. We'll see what happens. Who knows? Chargers might get the Chiefs at a good time, or maybe the Chiefs might not be as good as the Chargers. We'll see and find out. I can't wait to find out too. Anywho, enough about the Chargers. Hopefully do well. Padres are doing really well. They are right now in the driver's seat of the number 4 seed in the National League playoff picture. I'm actually going to the baseball game against the Astros tomorrow to get my Fernando Tatis bobblehead with his platinum glove. I can't wait to get that tomorrow. I'm going with my good friend, comic Ryan Archuleta. Go see his comedy shows. He's a funny guy. Guy has a really nice apartment. So Padres, I believe. I think they are. Let's see. There's 11 games left in the season, and I believe they're 86-65. And as of last checked today, the Padres were losing 2-0 in the 4th inning, I think, against the Astros. So hopefully the Padres can do better. Might get to Hunter Brown, might even get to the bullpen before they even get to Josh Hader. So he's our former Padres closer. So, but I like the Padres bullpen. I like how they kind of shored it up. Got Tanner Scott, got Estrada, Morhone, Matsui, and then of course our primary closer, Robert Suarez. But I do like Tanner Scott being in there sometimes, and so we'll see how it goes. Right now I think the Diamondbacks are losing, so there's a bit of a gap between the Diamondbacks, who's number 5, and the Padres at number 4. So if this keeps up, I think the Padres might be hosting the wild card round, all 3 home games with the Padres. So hopefully the Padres can win 2 of those 3 games. At the same time, the Dodgers did lose today to the Marlins. and the Padres are only 3 games behind the Dodgers for the NL West division lead. So part of me doesn't want the Padres to win the division, but it is kind of nice to have 5 days off. But at the same time, 5 days off is 5 days of rustiness. So it's a double-edged sword, I guess. You want to be the best, but you have to deal with the fact that the 5-day layoff works against all the best teams in the league. So only one team has ever gone past a 5-day layoff and won a series, but they did not win the World Series. So it's been pretty much a wild card team has won the World Series since they've implemented that 5-day layoff because they wanted to make the wild card round best of 3. So who knows? A team might finally figure it out. So who knows? Might be the Padres. Otherwise, the Padres might end up winning the World Series by becoming a wild card team and beat their wild card opponent, probably the Diamondbacks, then beat the Phillies or the Dodgers, and then go on to beat, the Brewers, or could be beat the Brewers, beat the Mets or Braves, or they could beat either the Phillies or the Dodgers. So we'll see. And then go on and beat the Yankees. I'm probably guessing the Yankees are probably might make it to the World Series and play against the Padres again. Or it could be the Orioles, it could be the Twins, it could be the Royals, and it could possibly be the Tigers. So we'll see how that's gonna go. But I am excited about the Chargers team and the Padres. They're both doing pretty well at the same time, so the the future looks pretty bright. Okay, so enough about that, guys. UFC 306, UFC Noche, Mexican Independence Weekend. And of course, the UFC 306 was inside the Sphere in Las Vegas. That is quite a marvel of an invention, a piece of innovation. I did see the inside of it based off of our UFC viewing party, and in a giant wall that basically is LCD and has all these graphics, visuals on that side of the wall, and the other side of the wall is all the seating. So that's quite a setup, and it looks like a lot of seats in there. I wasn't too sure what's the capacity inside, but it looks pretty awesome inside. They played movies, history of Mexico, pretty much. They also did like little like video presentations of each of the fighters coming out, especially the main card. That was a lot of. That might cost a lot of money to produce all that, but it's worth it. Once in a lifetime thing, maybe a second time. Dana White has said that you might not do this again, but the fact that you have it inside the Sphere. Now, from what it looks like, the octagon was actually all the way at the bottom, and it's at the floor, and there are seats surrounding it. I guess you could say ringside. But I feel bad sometimes for those people at ringside with their back to the visualization wall, because you can't see the movies that well. You could turn around, but you don't feel comfortable even doing it. So it looks very painful. That's why I had to go to the chiropractor and massage therapy a lot, because I twist my neck a lot watching stuff, comedy shows, sports. I always like to find seats where I'm like straight looking at something and not have to turn my body, but sometimes when you have to make do, you got to figure out how to do it. So anywho, a lot of great fights. I think there were 10 fights on the card. I believe Rosas defeated Aurikiling, Auri Keeling. He won by decision. I think it was unanimous that it was 29-28, I believe. A lot of takedowns for Rosas, which is kind of expected. But there were some times when he was losing part of the stand up game, and I think Auric uh, Aoriki Link, uh, Ori Aori Keelink. Um, he got one round, but may not be all of them. I think one maybe gave all three to Rosas, but then two of them probably did give it 2-1 to Rosas. But yeah, Rosas got a big victory over a guy who was kind of a very formidable opponent. And just to see Rosas get back on the horse and climb back up the ladder, and we'll see how well he does. I think he's like 18, 19 now, and he wants to retire by 25 or something. So who knows? Might be champion by then. Another fight that I saw on the prelims as Rosas and Ori Rikilink was Norma Dumont and Irene Aldana. Aldana did challenge for I believe it was the Bantamweight Women's Championship against the GOAT, Amanda Nunez, but she fell short. Lopsided fight. And, well, Irene Aldana got a big gash on her forehead. You could see some brain matter. That's how bad it was. And the fact that was just a big target on her forehead that Dermont was able to get repeatedly, and she opened that up pretty badly. And surprisingly, they let the fight go on after that point, but they're both warriors. Dumont did beat Aldana by decision, unanimous. Great win for Dumont, and she might be challenging whoever is the bantamweight champion. Could be Kayla Harrison, could be Raquel Pennington, could be Juliana Pena. So not too long after, Norma Dumont will get her title shot against one of those three ladies. I did notice that Kayla Harrison does have a fight with, I think her name is Caitlin Vieira. So I think she's going to beat her, and then she'll be next in line probably to fight the number one, the title holder of Raquel Pennington or Juliana Pena. Of course, Juliana Pena, and Kayla Harrison does have some bad blood, and that's just a very marketable title fight. Should it happen very soon, probably 2025. Anywho, I did see some screenshots, and I did see the fight itself, and man, that was a big gash on Aldana's head. Never seen it that bad before, to the point where you saw some brain matter. You could see inside her brain. Oh man, that was something. Anywho, I should watch that 306 post-fight press conference. I got to do that. I want to hear what Dana White has to say. So, yeah. And then the first fight of the main card, I believe it was Ronaldo Rodriguez against Ode Osborne. Man, the first round, Ode Osborne, he had him down, he knocked him down, and it seemed like he might try to finish him off, but Ronaldo Rodriguez kept his poise, won the other 2 rounds, and he won basically by split decision, I believe. So a great win for Ronaldo Rodriguez. He might have some stuff to work on, like not get hit that early, but who knows where he's going to be, because he's on the main card. It must be a big deal. So, and of course, coming back in a fight usually warrants you that you probably might stay in the main card, but you might also be kept on big number cards anyway. But you're very much in demand if you can always come back in a fight, or just much less win a fight no matter what. So kudos to Ronaldo Rodriguez on his victory. I believe next we had Ribovics versus Zahuber. Zahuber. There was a sequence where it looked so bad for Zahuber. He was just like flopping everywhere. He was getting pummeled. I think in the third round, he actually got hit close to 100 times in the third round alone, and he didn't really respond until he finally caught his, you know, the wing beneath his wings, the wind beneath his wings. Um, I mean, they've had some good exchanges, but that whole sequence in the third round, where he literally wasn't fighting back, and it looked like Ribovics was about to go for the finish, but Ribovics did win by split decision. That was an amazing fight. That probably got possibly fight of the night. So, um, kudos to Ribovics for his victory. Um, then we had Diego Lopez going against Brian Ortega. That did not exactly how I would picture it going. That was probably one of the two fights I probably got wrong. Um, Ortega lost by decision to Diego Lopez, and I think Diego Lopez was so close to finishing off Brian Ortega in the first round. But Diego Lopez is a guy to fear. He might have just taken the number 3 spot because Ortega was number 3. So let's see how that turns out for Diego Lopez. I feel at this point now that Brian Ortega will probably never get gold now. I don't think he can beat anybody in the top 3 of the featherweight division. So that's too bad though. Oh well. Funny that I think Tracy Cortez, his ex-girlfriend, was ex-fiance, was actually there. So I can only imagine what she was thinking, much less what he was thinking. Um, Anywho, that's just food for thought. Uh, so yeah, kudos to Diego Lopez. He might get a title shot after that now. Might be facing either Ilia Topuria or Max Holloway, but I'm kind of pulling for Ilia Topuria to win that fight. So if Ilia Topuria does fight Diego Lopez, I'm still picking Ilia Topuria. Co-main event, we got Valentina Shevchenko trying to get back her title against Alexa Grasso. It was a lopsided fight. A lot of submissions though, but Valentina, she got her down almost in every single round. There are sometimes Grasso did get out of it, but she ends up on her back again. She had a guillotine on Valentina, but Valentina kept punching away at her stomach, and at some point Valentina escaped. She popped her head out, and Grasso had to let go, and well, she's on her back automatically once the moment she lets go of that submission hold, because now Valentina's on top of her. Did some damage. Grasso did kind of manage a lot of that damage, so she didn't take too much damage, but she did take some damage. And of course, the referees see that you're being kept down by Valentina, so that's all they can go off of for 5 rounds. But I'm glad Valentina got back her title. The trilogy is now 1, 1, and 1. 1 win for Valentina, 1 win for Grasso, and 1 tie between the two of them. So I don't know. They might run it back for a 4th one to make sure they can find a definitive winner in this 4-fight series. What is it called for 4 fights or 4 parts? Quadrilogy or something? Something like that. But yeah, I can't wait to see who Valentina's going to fight next. She could fight Grasso again, but there's also Blanchfield, Fiorat. So we'll see what happens. Oh, even Namajunas for a flyweight. And of course, down the road, it could be Tracy Cortez down the road. So we'll see what happens. And then our main event. Merab Dvalishvili Valishvili. You get to challenge the 135 bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley. He even had his own hologram in the intros on the visualization board that everybody got to see. And, well, the fight went as expected. Marab did use his ground game strength to his advantage. He got Sean O'Malley down. Sean O'Malley did get some of his striking in there, but there's no way he can really defend the takedowns, and you got to see some ground and pound. I did notice that two of the judges had it 49-47, 48-47 for Marab, and then one did have it 49-46 for Marab. Honestly, I thought it was 5-0, but Marab won by decision no matter what. So Marab Davalishvili, he is your new bantamweight champion. Who knows if they're going to run this back or not, or Marab gets to face a whole bunch of challengers at 135. You got I want to say it's one of Habib's cousins, Nurmagomedov. I think his name might be Umar Nurmagomedov. Umar Nurmagomedov. Yeah. The guy's undefeated. Actually, all those cousins are undefeated. That will be an interesting fight to see because, for one, Marab is from Georgia, the country, and you got Nurmagomedov from Dagestan. So that's a very fun fight, very strategic fight. It might be boring a little bit, but it might be very exciting too because they might cancel each other out. So that fight might be happening in 2025. So can't wait for that. But Sean O'Malley, I think he has some stuff to work on because he can't just simply be a striker. But I mean, it is bread and butter. But when you face it against a wrestler, a grappler, it just doesn't simply work unless you're that quick with your hands to prevent a takedown and get the knockout before the takedown happens. So if you can't do that, you got to work on that ground game, man. It's the only way that you can face off against a lot of these Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys and grapplers and stuff. I mean, the striking game might work with a kickboxer, but I don't know, man. I always like to favor grapplers and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys over strikers, but especially if they can't get their takedowns to be defended. I like that strength in most fighters. So, but yeah, kudos to Marab, Valentina, Diego, Ribovics, Ronaldo, Dumont, Rosas. Great card. Some took a while to get into because it was gonna go 5 rounds, 3 rounds. Some weren't definitive, but you could tell that some probably had won, and then there's some that you definitely know had won by decision. But yeah, those are some good fights. I'm glad I got to host that viewing party at my place. Got the projector screen on due to my good buddy D2 Nice. Can't wait for the next big fights. There is 307 on October 5th, and Alex Pereira is defending his light heavyweight championship against Khalil Roundtree. That's gonna be a fun one, and I think that's also the no, that's probably the main one I could think of. Can't think of anything else on that card. Anywho, guys, make sure you have some good food, good comedy, watch some good fights, watch some good comedy shows, and I'll see you guys very soon. And you know the saying goes, boom, Tiggy Maximus, signing off. baby. All right, later, guys. Booyaka!